Good morning, this is Ms. Schaefer. I wanted to show you some quick helps and tips for this lab. You will want to use the instructions to help you out. Definitely, they're there to help you. This is the Mass in Motion lab. You can also pause this so that you can make sure you're getting the information you need, but these are right in the instructions. I just wanted to give you some feedback on your answers. So remember that you will need your reading to help you answer some of the questions. The goal in this lab is listed. It says the goal of this lab is to determine which mass has the most momentum. That means that has to be part of our hypothesis. But to get us going, we need to know what momentum is and how it's determined. So please be sure to check your reading in the class connects to get that answer. The second one was we need to use all of our information on the 3 laws of motion by Newton to help us out. So in question 2, we want to list all 3 laws of motion. You can use your class connect session or your reading. Be sure it's in your own words. Google is not necessarily your friend in many cases. If it's using words and ideas that you do not understand, you don't want to use that as your source. And you definitely need to change it to your own words so it is not a plagiarism issue. So based on our goal, we can now write our hypothesis. It needs to be an if-then statement. So when we make our prediction, we have to do it based on the goal, which has to do with momentum. So momentum needs to be somewhere in our hypothesis. Here's a starter sentence for you if you would like to use this as an example. Right here, if the mass of one ball is more than another, the momentum will, and explain what you think will happen. You can have something a little bit different. As long as you're talking about momentum, you should be okay. In our data sheet, please don't forget the angle of inclination. You can't get all of your points if you're missing information. And if your data is off, then you will have a problem too. So we want to do that accurate measurements. So these instructions, they're all posted for you in the instructions. You can pause it also if you need to. But remember with the graphing that you have some helps. They're right in the course. If you're not sure how to graph, then go in and get the helps. You have several options. Don't lose your points for that. And we will be graphing all year long. The question 6, be sure that you list all 3 laws again. Remember, look at question 2 and address all 3 laws. And I've just given you a huge hint of how I would answer one of them. You figure out the first and the third. Question 7, we have to look at momentum. Did we ever calculate momentum in this lab? Did we ever calculate velocity? Check that out. Think about that. So how are we going to determine which one has the momentum? To help us with that, we need to look at the data we're collecting. What is our dependent variable? What is our independent variable? How does this relate to momentum? How, for each ball, how did we change the momentum? What did we do? So use that to help you figure out which object has the most momentum and how do you know? And then our last question is about the conclusion. Many of you are doing really well in restating your hypothesis because you need to restate your hypothesis, then compare that with your data or your results. In other words, if you're not using data numbers from your chart, you can't get all the points. So here is another example. You're going to have to word yours differently, but here's an example of something I started. I know this because when I released the steel ball from 30 centimeters, the sled moved blank centimeters. But when I released The plastic ball from 30 centimeters, the sled moved blank centimeters. This shows me that. So this is just an example of a possible way to work the conclusion where I'm using the data. There are others that are correct. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Your effort will pay off. Please remember to redo these labs so you get full points. You really want to keep this grade high because you can redo that and that will help you. It will also help you with the rest of your science credits because if you can do these labs well with this much information and really train yourself in the future, this will be easy peasy. Have a great day. We will see you next time.